On today's DNVR Broncos podcast, we're talking about how far could this playoff run for the Broncos go? Could they make it all the way to the Super Bowl? And if they're going to make a deep playoff run, who needs to step up? And we've got a special guest joining us today, and it all starts now. Deep playoff run, and we're talking about how the Broncos make a deep playoff run on the DNVR Broncos podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge inside the DNVR bar, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. And we are presented by Bet365. Use code DNVR365 when you sign up to get the best offers out there. And we are rocking and rolling with Hank, otherwise known as Henry Chisholm, with RK, otherwise known as Ryan Koenigsberg, with special guest Dr. Dre.
We're doing it, baby.
Otherwise known as Andre Simone. Behind the camera, we've got Yahir Vasquez, otherwise known as Yaya. And yours truly, Zach Stevens, rocking and rolling with you today. Playoff week, day 2. Maybe part 1 continues if we're looking at 2 or 3 weeks, 4, 5 weeks maybe.
I have a question. What do I have to accomplish for you to say something before my name like you do with Todd? Like you say Super Bowl 50 champion Todd Davis. Like I gotta like win an Emmy.
Yeah.
Like Emmy award winner.
You gotta win a Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or some prestigious award along those lines would make sense. You know?
Nobel Peace Prize winner.
Yeah.
Or maybe your school, your alma mater honors you. Or you're knighted in England.
Oh,
wow. You guys are pretty popular across the pond.
Sir Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Right.
That one seems a little more far-fetched.
I like to set goals and manifest things, and that's one for me over the next 5 years.
For him to get knighted or for him to win the Super Bowl?
Knighted. Yeah,
no
for
doubt.
sure.
Definitely not, because
For sure.
I could just be like an analyst or something.
Yeah.
But would you ever do that?
Actually, you could be the comms guy.
Yeah.
You'd be qualified for that.
Everyone's got a prize.
That's a good point. Man, or Nobel, Peace Prize of honor from the president.
Medal of Freedom.
Yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, that sounds
I
cool.
just got one.
We could just give that to you. Like, what if I just said that before every single show, and then it just spread,
right.
and then like people, and then the
Perception is
president's just
reality.
like, wait, did I not give that? Should I give it to him just in case?
I think that's how the University of Colorado is with my degree.
Oh,
Like they're like, I don't think he actually graduated, but we'll just give him like honorary graduate status because we like him.
The cheat code is the Arthur Blank. We induct you in the DNVR Hall of Fame. Wink, wink. You induct
DNVR
yourself.
Hall of
Yeah.
All right.
And then, I mean, that has to
Hall
be
of Famer.
mentioned at the top of the show.
so now do I say DNVR Hall of Famer,
No.
RK, or do I just say Hall of Famer?
I think you
RK?
should say whatever you were going to say before I derailed us.
No, that was good. This is what we're talking about. You know, we're throwing this show back a little bit this week. Yesterday, we heard from the Count, threw it back to the comment section,
go, Count.
brought RK on for the week. Today, we're throwing it back to Dr. Dre joining us on the show. And I was trying to think of like the most memorable time we've had Dre on the show. And I just kept going back.
He's been on the show.
Oh, yeah, he's been on the show.
I guess they weren't that memorable.
Wow.
Usually replacing you back in the day.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, we sat
But
in the office.
I know where this is going now.
Yeah, and we sat. It was 4 of us. Henry was still. I don't know if you were on the Buffs beat or if you were just in college.
college,
still. You might have still
probably.
been in college. And it was 4 of us. And we had Brandon Spano with us as well.
Oh.
And we
Yeah.
were sitting in an Airbnb in Mobile, Alabama.
Damn straight.
And boy, were those fun.
Well, and probably even
Epic
more
shows.
legendary than that was when we weren't sitting in an Airbnb in Mobile,
Yes,
Alabama. We were driving in a car from Mobile, Alabama to New Orleans.
You're spot on.
right.
Oh, yeah. And we
right.
passed a phone around a car to
Yes.
record a podcast.
That's how it's done.
Oh, wow.
Took forever to upload that pod. I remember.
Oh my God, on the Airbnb
That set
Wi-Fi.
the stage for the rest of the night. Yeah.
That is what made us so late to get out.
Yippers. Yes,
Wow,
correct.
great memory.
Oh yeah, to go out. Yeah, that was quite a time in New Orleans. And we're gonna have
headed back.
We're gonna have a time in New Orleans just in a couple of weeks. Super Bowl show is going to be
Wow.
live. I think breaking news that we will be
There
in
you
New
go.
Orleans for these shows. So it's gonna be an absolute blast. And before we go any further, I gave shout outs to Twitter. I gave shout outs to Bet365. Got to give a shout out to us.
Oh.
And we are giving you guys a deal right now. If you want to become a diehard, you can do that at almost half the cost. We are cutting prices in order to celebrate this playoff run. For this
Just
week,
silly.
you join with us, $48 plus. You get a free t-shirt. You get all the benefits that come with being a diehard. It almost pays for itself with that free t-shirt right there. So make sure to join us. Click the link in our description to become a diehard. And if you want to get one of these shirts, LFB, Let's Frickin' Bow, you can get that. You want a hoodie?
I don't think it stands
that
for
helps
frickin'.
you. Do you want to say it and get in trouble for us instead?
No,
Okay.
I already got in trouble enough for the post-game show.
Oh man.
And man, we're just celebrating. We also have 2 playoff shirts.
That's
that we
right,
Just
that's
dropped
right.
as well.
The Bonito one goes
hoodie
so
that
hard.
Dre's rocking
Oh
is
man,
so sick.
that goes hard.
Yeah.
It's the perfect colors too.
Yeah.
I mean, nailed the colors.
it's a great
along
hoodie.
with the shirt as well. How would you, in PG terms, describe the Nik Bonitto shirt we dropped?
It goes hard.
It goes
It goes hard.
oh,
It,
is it because of what he's doing?
No, but it's also kind of a nuts T-shirt, if you know what I mean. You know, it goes nuts. It is
That is
yeah,
good. It goes
nuts.
hard. It goes nuts. Balls to
Yeah.
the wall. Some
Right,
might say.
right, totally.
Oh
totally.
man. And then the incomplete is also sweet.
Classic.
So make sure to sign up with us for this playoff run. And guys, I want to dive in to this. Here's got him up on the screen if you're watching on YouTube right now. And if you're watching on YouTube, hit us with a thumbs up as well. And speaking of this playoff run, guys, I think Broncos fans are happy to be here. And I think they damn well should be happy to be here. The Buffalo Bills might be overlooking the Broncos right now. They're probably not happy to be here. They have way bigger aspirations and dreams, but inside the Broncos building, they're not happy to be here. And Sean Payton, Mike McGlinchey told us yesterday that Sean Payton Monday morning started, and he made it clear that this is just the beginning for them this year and how they're pushing for more. And we would love that. I can guarantee you that. We would love to have that. So how far can this playoff run go? Before we do that, Ryan, did you see something?
No, just the best one about what the shirt is. It says it's defining ball security.
Oh,
Yeah,
that really
true.
is.
it's a good
If he-
reminder.
If he wasn't wearing a cup, he was in that.
Yes,
moment
the old
right
hand
there.
cup.
Catchers don't wear that. So let's talk about just how far this playoff run could go for the Broncos. Ryan?
Well, I think that if it can get past this weekend, it has no end.
Ooh.
There is no ceiling on this team if they can win this one. As someone who just happened to not watch the last 5 seconds of the game, I've already seen the Broncos win a game at Arrowhead this year. So if I've seen that, then I could see anything.
Yep.
And I truly mean that. This one, I think, is harder than that one. Even though the Chiefs are the 1 seed, you've done this dance with the Chiefs a million times now. We've seen the difference between regular season Jokic and playoff Jokic. And I think there is a similar thing that exists with regular season Mahomes and playoff Mahomes. And so it would be a new challenge, a new thing that you have to conquer. But if you can go on the road to Buffalo in, early January and win a football game, you can do anything in these playoffs.
I love that. I love that mentality there. Henry, do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's why you play the game, because anybody can win. They wouldn't put 7 teams on each side in the playoffs if they couldn't all go win the Super Bowl. And odds are it won't be a
Until that's
wild
a
card
college
team.
football playoff detractors.
Yeah. No, it was a rough start for them. They have not been watching the FCS playoffs where, first couple weeks, a lot of blowouts, and then you get to some fun games eventually.
Yeah.
But Yeah, no, I mean, they can absolutely make a run. There's no reason they can't make a run.
I love that. Dre?
Well, and I really like the first two matchups, right? I mean, it's Sean Payton against Sean McDermott. Those offensive, defensive play callers have gone against each other for half a decade in the NFC South. The Chiefs, they're 2-2 in their last 4 with that missed field goal that could easily have the Broncos 3-1. And of course, there's the asterisk because one of those wins for Denver is against the backups.
No asterisk.
I feel really good about that.
No one forced them to play the backups.
I mean, and also to stomp the backups in that way.
Yeah.
When you have everything riding on that game and they're just playing with house money, I
Also,
think
it wasn't
also
all
noticeable.
backups. Like
true.
Leo Chenal took a bad angle, and that's like
Right.
one of their best players, and all of a sudden
Right.
it's a touchdown.
Who was the
Right.
guy who
Feel
came in when
Chenault's gonna
Mahomes
feel that one.
dislocated his kneecap?
Oh, who was that?
Matt Moore.
Yeah.
Damn,
Was
nice
it really
pull,
Matt
Yair.
Moore?
Yeah, Matt Moore came in and diced the Broncos up. So
The Broncos were winning when Pat Mahomes went
Yeah.
out in that game, and then they got crushed.
So things have changed.
Yeah, very much so.
And
Carson Wentz is no Matt Moore.
But yeah.
Kind of
very-
both
I
ways.
think Matt Moore
I don't know.
is
Some
Very
people
different
last week
people,
were
yeah.
telling me he was way better.
He's definitely not Matt Moore.
He's better than Matt Moore, that's for sure. Anyways, this team can go as far as anyone. I really think that. And to me, the one that I have the hardest time wrapping my mind around is how they would beat the Ravens. Only because we saw it in action and it was really, really ugly.
At Baltimore is the most worrisome matchup.
Yeah, so to me, it's like, okay, if you're rooting for a Broncos deep run, you're rooting against the Ravens every week.
100%.
Because you're already going to get the other two best teams.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to beat them. You want someone else to take care of the Ravens before you were to get to the AFC Championship.
And then so let's dive into this kind of matchup by matchup, a brief look at all of this and who could beat the Ravens, because that was going to be my only pushback for you guys was, man, if you run into Baltimore, that could be really difficult. But Baltimore has to go out and win 2 games before that happens. So let's take a look at the AFC playoff picture. But before we do that, I got to give a shout out to our friends over at Live Well, where, guys, some people might call us delusional. Some people might say we're enjoying a little too much Live Well product when we're talking about a deep playoff run. I'll tell you what, none of us are using Live Well now, but some of us will be using it later today. And if you want to get in, you can check out our friends over at Live Well, where they've got 25 convenient locations. These guys can't figure out who I was pointing to there. You can check out one of their 25 convenient locations, and you're going to get 25% off one regular price item if you use code DNVR over at pickup or on your online order. When you pick it up in store, use that code DNVR25 and they're going to give you 25% off your order over at LiveWell, where they've got so many different products, so many different stores, and you can also order online over at livewell.com. And again, whether you're in store or using that online, once you go to pick up the product in store, use that code DNVR25 to get 25% off one regular priced item. Restrictions apply.
Also, shout out to Toyota. So I went back home for
I love
Christmas,
my Toyota.
and my parents have this little Yoda. And anytime,
Toy Yoda.
exactly.
Wow.
Every time
Sorry,
I've
I
seen the
stole your
word Toyota, no, that's you killed it. Every time I've seen the
Wow.
word Toyota, I just can't stop thinking about that toy Yoda.
So great to drive a Toyota on a snowy day like this.
It is.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's probably what Yoda would drive.
That's
Smart
the only
guy.
reason we got here.
In his infinite wisdom, yes,
Yeah,
he probably
absolutely.
would, no doubt.
There's definitely. That's what he's driving. Toyota offers 17 miles with available all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, like the Epic 4Runner. That's the one I put Yoda in. They have the brand new 2024 Tacoma, return of the iconic 2024 Land Cruiser, whole bunch of different hybrids, all sorts of awesome stuff. And you can check them out by visiting your Front Range Toyota stores at location near you. Auto Nation Toyota, Arapahoe and Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Toyota, official automotive partner of the NFL, official vehicle of DNVR. Let's go places.
Really quick, I think that if Yoda were to drive a Toyota,
Yeah.
that wasn't a toy, I feel like Land Cruiser. Like, doesn't that sound like a vehicle in Star Wars?
Yeah.
Like, let's hop in the Land Cruiser.
Yeah, a white one
Yeah.
or a black one, I guess. It
I
could
was-
be either of those two.
I was
Dang.
imagining like a sand-colored vehicle.
Oh, well, I guess it depends where are you driving this. Is it in the desert scene? Is it?
The only thing I know
On-
for sure is it's land.
It's
Well,
land.
he lives in that swamp.
Oh.
Is that what we? I
Oh,
don't know if
this
it's
is
an
gonna
official
get-
word.
So it
This
could be
is gonna
it could be
bad.
dark green, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
I
Also,
didn't
maybe
expect
something with
you
some
to be
big
the
wheels.
most dialed on Star Wars lore of this cast, but maybe I
I-
should have seen that coming.
It was between me and you, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Right.
even that's just
I mean,
right.
I think I've seen every Star Wars, but I'm not like
Yeah.
dialed on it. you
That's
know?
an upset.
Me too.
Yeah. You've seen them all.
I think so. I
You've
don't
at
know.
least got
Wow.
that
What's
going
so
for
confusing about them is they go in like two different orders.
It's not that confusing.
you. Right.
No, they
Right.
do. Doesn't
No,
it
you're
start
right.
with like
You're right.
yeah, and
It's
then-
they
confusing.
snake drafted the.
Yeah, which is
No,
pretty
the-
messed up.
The snake draft would probably be easier to follow.
Just
It
go
would
4,
be.
5,
It
6.
would be.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, exactly. That's really messed up.
I mean,
for-
it's definitely different.
Is it a
There are
trilogy?
more confusing things out there. As soon
Yeah.
as you can lock it down and just watch them.
The
How
real
can-
Star Wars heads are going to be pissed.
How confusing
Yeah.
is it to
Yeah.
wrap your mind around the Broncos beating the Ravens? Or could we do that?
It could be done.
Okay, let's get to that before, but we got to get to beating the Chiefs, beating the Bills, and really quick shout out to our presenting sponsor Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. And we have so many shout outs today because there's so many cool things going on.
Lots going on.
And including someone in the comment section pointed this. Actually, multiple people in the comment section have pointed this out, and I want to make sure everyone's aware of it. For anyone going to the Bills game, Broncos Bills this weekend, we're having a tailgate, playoff tailgate. Let's show the Bills fans and Bills Mafia how to tailgate right. And if you want to join us, maybe we'll have some tables we can smash. What else do they do there?
They take shots out of bowling balls.
That is random.
Whoa.
Yeah,
We gotta
the
keep Quinn Miners away from
like
there.
the finger hole of a bowling ball. They fill with alcohol and then drink out of it.
That sounds awesome.
That sounds like dangerous, wouldn't that? Couldn't
Well,
it
yeah,
smash your
but-
teeth?
if you
If you
don't
let
have a
go.
good grip on it.
But you don't have your fingers in the holes, so of course you wouldn't have a good grip on
Oh
it.
man, Zach just every time, it's crazy.
I'm talking about bowling
It's
balls.
crazy. He even does
You gotta,
the
like,
gesture.
You hold
Oh
it
my
kind of like
god.
almost like a chalice. Like
And then it just would fall on your head.
well,
No, I
It's the-
think
the
he's the
teaspoon.
you, have,
alright.
like, you can develop strength in your hands.
Yeah.
They're slick. They're meant to go on slick floors.
Yeah. The floor is
I
usually
think
the
Ryan's
slick part.
trolling
I know
me
another
right
thing.
now.
They throw dildos on the field.
They do.
Yeah.
What are they
Take
called?
shots out of them.
I think they're. Shane
dildo
Ray told me they
daddies
were
or
called the
something?
Dildo Bros.
Well, and
Wow.
is that to celebrate or is that when the opposing team's in the end zone?
I think it's like it doesn't discriminate.
Oh, okay.
Like
That's
everyone's just
good.
kind of waiting for the
Everyone
moment.
gets the dilly.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. That's maybe we'll see that this weekend. So
Oh, my
let's.
God.
No. The first thing that the Broncos will do is go into Buffalo this weekend. Do you have the playoff picture graphic up? Let's look at this. So Broncos obviously start, and shout out to you here for this awesome graphic. Broncos start as against the 2 seed in Buffalo, going against the 13-4 Bills. Then if they win that game, they go up against the Kansas City Chiefs, who are the 1 seed and have that sole bye in the AFC. And then you also have the Ravens taking on the Steelers this week. The winner of that plays the Chargers and the Texans. So let's start with the Broncos and Bills. Guys, I think there's a percentage out there. I think it might be ESPN's playoff predictor or something that gives the Broncos a 32% chance to win. To me, that is like way more than just like any given Sunday. I mean, any given Sunday is like the Browns when they're 20-point underdogs to the Ravens this past week. That's like, okay, the only way this is going to happen is if it's any given Sunday. 32% chance from a neutral source. It's just looking at numbers is pretty darn good for the Broncos being the 7th seed right now.
I completely agree. And I think it has to do with the fact that, like, I don't know. Oh, the numbers don't calculate this. But on top of that, I would say the fact that the Bills have never gotten it done creates a feeling
100%.
of everyone knows they're going to blow it at some point.
Yep.
It's just when is that going to happen?
They know they're going to blow it at some point.
Yes.
Like Josh Allen knows at some point. Like that thought doesn't leave your head,
Well,
For sure.
And I was talking about this with the guys on the post-game show. And I was like, there's a weird thing that happens when your season doesn't start until the playoffs start. And that's the place where the Bills are right now. Like, their whole regular season is just a long preseason for the postseason, which is really their regular season. That's you reach a certain point as a franchise where it's like the only thing that you can do to have a successful season is to win the Super Bowl. And so they go into this week with all the pressure.
1,000%.
Whereas the Broncos walk in just like, hey, let's have some fun and potentially F around and get a win.
The 100%. And Josh Allen might be thinking this more than anyone. And plus, Sean McDermott might be playing scared because if they lose this first game, even after having a great season, he might be fired.
Oh, yeah.
But Josh Allen is someone who has statistically played excellent in the playoffs. 21 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, 100 passer rating, completion percentage of 65. He has been so good, yet he looks around and he's 500 in the playoffs. He's 5-5. So he might be even going into this week saying, I hope everyone else steps up because I know I'm going to play well, but even when I play well, I still lose games.
Yeah, and it's not the most veteran-laden team. They had a lot of turnover coming into this season. It's a bit of a surprise in some ways that they are the 2 seed in the AFC, but now this all resets. Now all the pressure's on Josh starting, Sean as their coach, and then this supporting cast that isn't necessarily the vaunted supporting cast that they've had in years past. Now, they're coming off a great season, but now it's time to prove it in a much different setting.
Well, I think we've seen that lack of talent kind of play out. Like, they aren't here because they're out-talenting other teams. They're here because Josh Allen stopped turning the ball over. They have a plus 23 turnover margin. It's the best since the 2012 Patriots. Like, they just get so many more possessions than anybody else. They don't screw it up. Their penalty margin is like 3rd in the NFL.
And they don't take sacks.
Exactly. They don't take sacks. And on the other side, that pass rush is, especially the past month or so, it looks insane. Like, I think since their bye week, Von Miller has the highest pressure rate in the NFL.
Wow.
You've got
Von starting.
No, it's crazy. You watch him, and I just went back and watched that Patriots game where he was playing our old friend DeMontre Jacobs, who should still be a Bronco, but they thought they could give him to the practice squad. And it's just every play.
Your old friend, right?
Yeah,
Ryan?
of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
I think I have his jersey still hanging in my closet.
Yeah, who could forget him? Yeah.
Signed
We
on
like
both
him.
sides, right? Front and back?
Yes.
Yeah. But Vaughn is just turning that corner over and over and over. You got Russo on the other side with Ed Oliver in the middle. Like, it's the pass rush and it's Josh Allen. And that's what's scary about this week.
Yeah, and I mean, a good quarterback plus a good pass rush, we've seen work here in Denver many times. So that certainly is scary. But Josh Allen is a quarterback that can turn the ball over in crazy amounts. Now, he's done a great job of that this year, limiting that. But there are ways that an upset can happen. And we're going to dive more into this game specifically as the week goes on. But my point of this, and I think what we've all pointed out, is you definitely can believe. You just don't gotta believe, like our playoff slogan is. You definitely can believe that an upset could happen this week. Especially, I mean, who are you taking in the playoffs? Sean McDermott as a head coach or Sean Payton?
Sean Payton.
Sean Payton.
I think as a neutral person, they would say the guy that's been to Super Bowls, the guy that's won Super Bowls. I think that they would say that as well. So you got the head coach, you got a quarterback that right now, in his past 3 games when it's kind of been playoff football for the Broncos, is 9 touchdowns to 1 interception. Josh Allen has been great this season. It's hard to find a quarterback that's been better in the past 3 games, playing against good teams as well than Bo.
Last 3 halves, Bo's been on fire. And it's a defense that's like top 15 all time in sacks. Like, they're going to get after it. That defense has done some stuff. And I mean, I was watching the week 10 game from last season where the Broncos upset them. And Vance's plan of attack in rushing Josh while not bringing numbers, but kind of mixing up who's coming and who's staying was a big part of why they won the turnover battle and were able to get in his head a little bit.
So when you say that, my mind goes to maybe we see a lot of Drew Sanders at inside linebacker this week because he gives you that ability to rush from anywhere.
Right. Yeah.
I like that. Like that a lot.
Yeah.
And that's going to be key because this Bills team doesn't have one weapon outside of Josh, but one receiving weapon that you have to take away. It's like everyone has to play pretty well, and everyone playing pretty well means, man, if you cannot pressure him, or if you can pressure Josh by bringing 4, That's going to help so much by neutralizing so many targets because you can't just put Pat on Stephon Diggs and call it good since Stephon Diggs is no longer there.
Right.
Amari Cooper didn't get a target against the Lions, which is pretty crazy. Like he's been kind of lackluster all year, but the fact that they're not getting him the ball hardly at all at this point is pretty crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah,
Jerry
there's not
Jeudy.
really a guy to lock in on.
No. It's probably Keon Coleman.
They're also a bit of like, they're kind of a dome team.
Yeah.
Like this offense is much more like spread them out and they're
Everybody
not
get
a
to your
like
spots, yeah.
playing in Buffalo in January team.
Yep.
We did
So I
see,
think that could
though,
hurt them a little bit.
They had a snow game earlier this year where they killed someone. Who was it?
Don't remember.
I
It was. It was.
Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
He's here.
He's
You
on the
are on a
Niners.
He's on
heater
top.
right
They
now.
smoke the Niners. This guy just
He's on
talks
fire,
ball
dude.
with former pros. Like that's what he does.
Yeah, I mean, they just ran all over them.
Yep.
And the 49ers looked helpless in that game,
Yep.
if I remember correctly. Yeah, 35-10.
And honestly, that might be the biggest difference with this Bills team right
the
now
running
is
game.
they're more balanced than
100%.
they've ever been. But we've still seen them in big games. They'll just give the ball to Josh Allen 50 times, and that's when it becomes a big issue.
Yeah.
If they feel pressured, maybe they just turn to that, and then it's like, man, you just pin your ears back if you're a pass rusher, and it gets to him.
Yeah. I mean, I remember, it was one of the first Mahomes games. And we were talking to Chris Harris in the locker room after the game, and he was just like, I've never been so tired.
Yep.
Because the second play is longer than the first play, and you're just sprinting around covering these receivers. Now, that was Tyreek Hill and whoever else they had back then. But the point is, that's what is going to be the toughest challenge for the Broncos secondary is Josh Allen is already a magician. And then you get into a playoff environment when everything's on the line, and he's probably going to turn it up even another notch of what he's willing to try, what he's willing to do. These guys are going to be running all over the field. The pass rush has to be really, like, just keep their heads up because you're going to think you're going to have him so many times, and you're not. And the same thing for the secondary. Like, you're going to think you have your guy locked up for 4 seconds, and then all of a sudden he goes the other way, and you give up a catch. So, to me, it's like, limit that as much as you possibly can, and that's with the game plan. And then when it does happen, just don't let it demoralize you, because I think that can be one of the most demoralizing things. Or, and Josh Allen, I feel like, has done this even more this year, is he'll take off and get a big chunk against you when you think you have everything covered on 3rd and 9.
Yeah, exactly. And Bo Nix has been sacked 24 times, which is incredible for a rookie. Josh Allen's been sacked 14 times, which is so hard to comprehend just how good that is. So I totally agree with you, Ryan, on that. Let's say the Broncos do win this game, though. It's on to Kansas City. Do we feel better about that matchup than we do this week's matchup? Or, Ryan, you talked about playoff Mahomes. Is that something that maybe it's not just what the game was a couple of weeks ago in Kansas City? Let's hit that after I give a shout out to our friends over at Bet365. We're talking about action on this show, and if you want to get in on the action, guys, what a week of football we've got starting Thursday. We've got college football playoff game Thursday, college football playoff game Friday, football, NFL playoffs on Saturday, NFL playoffs on Sunday, NFL playoffs on Monday night.
Good.
And if you want to get in on all the odds, you can check out our friends over at Bet365. And I'll tell you, the public over at Bet365 has been liking the Broncos. The line's kind of gone down in the Broncos' favor. I think it opened at 8.5, might be around 7.5 now. So people getting in on the action. It might be, you might want to get in before it jumps below that 7 if it's going to do that. And you can do that over at Bet365. And you can do it with bonus bets over at Bet365. When you sign up, use the code DNVR365 over at Bet365. You are going to get $150 in bonus bets when you place a $5 bet after depositing $10. And boom, you can use that $150 in bonus bets this weekend. Scan the QR code on the screen to download the app, or go to Bet365 or download the app over at Bet365. And of course, you must be 21 and older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, once help caller text 1-800-GAMBLER.
And also check out Game Time. First of all, today's a great time to be using it because of the weather. Whenever it snows like this, Nuggets tickets get really cheap. Like an hour before the game, nobody wants to go. So you can
Insane
wind
ball knowledge.
It's also
Yeah,
you're
truly.
playing the Celtics.
Yeah.
And so I think
Oh my gosh.
right now you can get in for $46. It was like 48 when I was driving over here. That's just going to keep going down all day.
Who did the Avs play last night?
I was
Panthers.
there.
Florida Panthers.
The Panthers.
Yeah.
So
back-to-back defending
Yeah.
champions at Ball Arena.
It is.
back-to-back defending champions that the Colorado teams have all beat in the last 3 days. The Kansas City Chiefs.
Oh.
How about that?
Never heard of them?
Well, the Nuggets got to finish this off.
Exactly.
I hope
yeah.
so.
Right.
three
Also,
seed.
if you're trying to go to Buffalo for this game, the tickets are insanely cheap. It's like
Wow.
less than $100 to get in.
What?
Like you can, was this fourth row, kind of back corner of the end zone, Broncos sideline, 194.
That's where the dilly,
170
that's where the
in,
dilly
like, the eighth
daddies
row.
sit.
That is.
Yeah.
Well, maybe don't buy those ones then.
Yeah, wear a helmet at least.
But yeah,
Not like figuratively, like a real helmet.
yeah. I'm shocked that these tickets are this cheap though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
me too.
amazing.
Like, do they just accept that they're going to lose?
Game time, baby.
Is
Can't
Game
beat
time.
Bills
them.
Mafia washed?
Well, it
Yeah.
sounds like it.
Kinda sounds
That's
like
why we
it.
got to show them how to
So-
tailgate.
They
Dang.
can be even cheaper though because you can use our code DNVR for $20 off your first purchase. You just have to download the Game Time app, create an account. There are terms that apply, and again, create an account, redeem the code DNVR for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Yeah, and Decent Dude pointed out, yes, I did say bonus bets over at Bet365.
Hell yeah.
Wow.
I just remembered another thing that Bills fans do. They do this weird thing where they like spray ketchup and mustard on someone.
No.
Bro,
Have you ever seen that?
why would they do
Yes.
that?
Yes,
yeah.
it's so
It's like a
weird.
ceremonial sacrifice of sorts.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, like they just like have a bunch of ketchup and mustard bottles and spray them all over this guy.
How do they
They-
have any ceremonies when none of it's ever worked?
That's true.
Right.
Like you would think you'd
Right.
be trying
Good
something.
point.
Yeah.
Maybe
Also,
that's why they're
Maybe
not
that's how they
going.
got to this.
They're just like, hey, we've been going to all these games. We always blow it. Let's just stop going. See if that
Oh,
works.
that could be.
Bills fans seek help, I say.
Yeah. Well, it probably got to the point where they said, we've tried everything. Now let's try spraying ketchup and mustard.
right.
It's all that's left.
Yeah, that's not what's going to do it. Broncos tied for best record against the spread. I'm sure you guys talk about this weekly, but Lions and Chargers, all 12-5.
12-5 against the spread. Wow, that is
Yep.
incredible. And Broncos 8-0 when they've been favorites. So they do take care of business when they should.
You know what that means? If everybody just bets the Broncos enough that they become favorites, they'll win.
The win.
So you just need some like big $1 million bets coming in on the Broncos money line.
Well, to our millionaire and billionaire listeners, smash Broncos
Shout
money
out
line.
to
you guarantee a win.
guys.
Yeah,
big
guarantee
time.
a win for the Broncos. Yahir is on a heater. He just hit me with this: the last 10-win team to win the Super Bowl. Yahir, this is kind of a mean one. Can you guys guess? Last 10-win team to win a Super Bowl, and I say this is a mean one.
I'm guessing it's a Chiefs
Ravens.
My guess would be
Yeah.
the Giants,
Yeah.
but your hint that it's a mean one suggests
Team.
The 2012 Baltimore Ravens.
So we're owed one.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
Old one in the AFC Championship game against the Ravens. But before we
Wow.
get there,
The Orchard Park Prayer. That's what they're gonna call it.
wow. The Orchard, what are they going to call it in Baltimore?
What's the play that's going to happen?
It's a throw from Bo Nix to Courtland Sutton.
No. I think it's got to be Troy Franklin because it would just it would be so improbable.
Right. It would just destroy the Matrix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the Ravens fans call theirs the Mile High Miracle.
Yeah.
So that's where I went with Orchard Park Prayer.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one.
Thanks.
What's the Kansas City Chiefs one called? When the Broncos go into Kansas City and they get the ball back, they're down 4 with 5 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock. And Bo just meticulously drives down the
Ooh,
field
they should call it the drive.
to score a
calling it-
touchdown.
Prairohead.
Wow.
Arrowhead.
You're talking about the Arrowhead assassination?
Oh,
Yeah, that's the Arrowhead assassination right there.
I like it.
Yeah.
Hit us with what you guys think in the Toyota chat. But guys, I think that this game, crazy enough, I just have a hard time balancing kind of what Ryan said. Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, he's a different cat.
Yeah.
He's 15-3 in the playoffs. He's only lost 3 times. 2 of those were to Tom Brady.
sick.
One of them was to Joe Burrow. He doesn't lose unless it's to one of those guys. And so that's why I do think this game would be a lot more difficult.
Huh.
But we've also seen the Broncos go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes in Arrowhead just this year. So I think the Broncos would also have a shot in this, and I think it'd probably be similar. I think it'd be a 35% chance the Broncos could pull this one off.
Not to give away my talking points for next week's show, which once the Broncos win, I'll be on again every show next week.
Go.
I will absolutely love the fact that the Chiefs starters will not have played football for almost 20 days
24
for sure.
Yes, 24 days by the time that game is played.
Yep.
The Chiefs starters will not have played a football game. Sign me up. I will absolutely love that. So between that and the fact that the Broncos will have all the confidence that they can beat the Chiefs, they've done it. I didn't watch the last 5 seconds. And they will also be fresh off of upsetting the Bills in Buffalo.
Yeah.
I will feel exponentially more confident about that game than I do about this one when we get there.
Also, last week, it was a vanilla defense they played, but that was kind of a base Chiefs defense that they carved up. Like, it's not like everything is going to change when you play them again. Like, there'll be more exotic pressures or whatever. They'll have some better players out there. But, like, that doesn't count for nothing to me.
Yeah, I love it. And like you
100%.
said, they didn't start all of their backups. They didn't sit all of their starters. There were still starters that were out there. And Sean keeps pointing to, in fact, yesterday in his press conference, Sean pointed to young and hungry can be dangerous. He said that all season before the Broncos were even good, before the
Just ask
season
Brandon
started.
Johnson.
Yeah, it's true. Young
He's
and
a young individual.
What is going on at this show?
who said that? Was that
The guy
Hackett?
with the whiskey collection.
Justin out?
That's right. That's
Young
right.
and
It was just now.
Oh man, that's
meant to
sad
say
that he's
hungry.
known as the guy with the whiskey collection, not
Yeah.
the Broncos offensive coordinator.
Well, I remember him.
So another thing that, especially if the Broncos go in and beat the Ravens, one of the things that this team will be as well is like young and naive, where they won't feel the pressure. They will for sure be playing with house money at that time. Where the Chiefs, it's like the total opposite. Everything about this year has been about winning back-to-back Super Bowls, and they haven't played in 24 days potentially. I would just love that mental matchup going in as well.
Yeah. I mean, as crazy as it sounds, talking about beating Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes in back-to-back weeks, it weirdly feels doable. And I won't feel like an idiot if the Broncos lose by 35 this weekend.
Yeah.
Did they do that last week?
What?
Beat Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen back to back, or the Packers game was in between, right?
Last year, you mean?
Or sorry, last year, yeah.
Oh, yes, it was. I think the Packers was in between. No, it was the Chiefs and Bills back to back. It was Chiefs then Bills.
They've done it
Look
before.
at that.
Yeah.
With Russell Wilson.
And
Yeah.
also, it's not only Russell Wilson. In between those two games, the Broncos tried to shatter Russell Wilson by saying, can you waive your injury guarantee or we're going to bench you? And Russ
Yeah.
still went out to
Right.
Orchard Park and beat him.
Broken
Maybe
Russell did it.
Sean
Why
needs-
can't
Sean's
Bo
gonna need
on
to
a
find
heater?
a way to turn Bo up a little bit like that. Like threaten to bench Bo if he doesn't,
Oh, yeah.
you know. So he's fired up going into the game.
crank him up
Sean
a little? Yeah.
would never threaten to bench Bo. In fact, he's turned him up the opposite
like,
way.
"Did
He's
you
saying,
see-
like, you are better than John Elway, Bo. Go out and beat him.
Didn't Stiddy finish the game 1-for-1?
Did he throw a pass?
I think he did.
I was so checked out by the end
No,
of that.
he ran.
No,
he
he
ran.
did- exactly,
He took
yeah.
So he
He
never
could have thrown it,
That's
though.
what Sean could say. He's like, look, Stiddy got out there and didn't throw one incompletion. I know you only threw 3, but
Yeah, and then also I saw on the broadcast they said Bo Nix had the best completion percentage ever by a Bronco, but they didn't throw like any. They didn't say how many pass attempts or anything.
like no.
Because I'm
minimum.
sure somebody's been 1 for 1.
Right.
Oh, those.
I just saw the
those
tweet,
don't count.
yeah.
Cortland?
Courtland Sutton
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
Emmanuel Sanders,
exactly.
1-for-1
Right.
for
Exactly.
one touchdown.
Exactly.
Right.
Bo
Yeah,
did
you
have.
need a qualifier.
You need a qualifier.
Here's a little qualifier. Bo Nix did have the best completion percentage for a rookie since at least 1978. For any rookie in a single game, minimum 25 attempts.
What is at
There's
least
a qualifier.
1978 mean?
It means I don't
Like
even
they
know.
weren't tracking it before
Yeah,
1978, so they don't know anymore.
Potentially.
Okay.
With 89%. So just an incredible game for Bo there. But when we look, so we all think, I don't want to speak for everyone, but we all think that they would definitely have a chance against the Chiefs.
Big time.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, that's where I feel like they're really a frisky dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
one
where
feels
I
like a
feel
toss-up.
like. Also, no one's ever gone back to back to back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hard thing to accomplish. There will be mines along the way, and this could be one of them.
And
Also,
they're-
the Chiefs are the worst 15-win team in NFL history, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Wholeheartedly believe that.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great qualifier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a good qualifier.
Good qualifier.
Yeah.
Now, you guys got to help me out here. Can you pull up this graphic again, please? Because I'd be lying if I didn't say that I had to do so many mental gymnastics to say the Broncos would be able to beat the Ravens.
You don't have to.
Unfortunately, how are the Ravens not in the AFC Championship with how this matches up? I mean, they get the Steelers where they're a 9-point favorite this week in
Biggest
Baltimore.
fave of wild card round.
Yeah, which is kind of wild for where
Yeah.
the Steelers were 3 weeks ago. They were 10-2,
crazy.
fighting for the top seed in the entire AFC, and then you have the Texans and Chargers. I hope someone knocks them off before. I don't see it happening. Can you guys help me?
Well, as one of the biggest Mike Tomlin believers in the world, I don't want to bring up his recent playoff record.
Yeah.
But he is a fantastic coach. And so
Facts.
anytime he's on the sideline, you're not safe, in my opinion. Do I think that Russell Wilson and the Steelers are going to beat the Ravens? No, I do not.
It's not happening. I think you've got the wrong coach that's going to take care of business, though.
Yeah, I honestly forgot the Texans were even in the playoffs,
Yeah,
so
that's
I
fair.
can't really put them on this list
Yeah.
of teams that could beat the Ravens.
Ryan, really quick, the only reason why people knew the Texans were in the playoffs is because that's what every wild card team was trying to play. They were trying to play the Texans.
Yeah, it's true. And then you do have Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh.
Harbaugh and Harbaugh.
Look, I would pick them to lose this week before I would pick them to win over the Ravens. But it's a talented team with a frisky quarterback that if he were to ever win a playoff game, still hasn't happened, I don't think.
Herbert? No.
Then, they would be dangerous.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll say, instead of what he said, I'll say I think the Chargers could make a run. I think the way that defense is built, the different things that they do, just how many playmakers they have on that side of the ball, like that's going to give them a chance against anybody. Like I don't think that there's a team in the NFL they couldn't hold to 24 points, and that means that the offense just needs to go handle business.
Yeah, and Bosa and Derwin James, if they're healthy for 2 weeks, like they're frisky. Yeah,
Totally.
But I mean, it's Harbaugh and Harbaugh. They know secrets that other coaches simply don't.
Wow.
But
I think Jim kind of owns that matchup.
He does.
Super Bowl aside.
I think he's. No.
Jim won.
Who's.
No, John
Yeah,
won.
Jim.
John won.
John
Jim
won.
is
John won.
the Ravens coach.
No.
No, Jim is the
What
Chargers
hell?
coach.
Yeah,
the
I get so
Michigan.
confused. Why did they have to name them both J names?
I
Okay,
don't
so
know. There's-
John, Ravens
Ravens,
coach. Yeah,
yes.
yeah. He's, I think, 4-1 against Jim. Crazy enough. In the NFL when they've gone up against each other. That could just be totally random. I disagree with you guys. I think it's the Steelers that have the best chance to stop the Ravens here. Russ, who knows? That's the thing with
Yeah,
Russ. You never
yeah.
know. He could go out and get sacked 16 times and
Right.
turn the ball over 5 times, and they get blown
Right.
out 49-0. He could also. He does the crazy fourth quarter comebacks. And if their defense is able to hold Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson in check, they could pull
Right.
off the upset. I wouldn't bet on that. And that's why I just do think, like, man, the Ravens have the easiest path to the AFC Championship game
They do.
of any team on both sides of this. Broncos are when they go here, they're gonna earn it and deserve it so much by going up against Josh Allen in Buffalo,
For sure.
Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City. And I just hope someone knocks off the Ravens because I saw the 41-10 loss, and
I
think
still maintain they were very close until that Zay Flowers touchdown to end the first half. And
with a minute 30 left,
yeah,
that's fair.
everything kind of broke open from there.
But like that Zay Flowers touchdown and a lot of the other points that were scored in that game were just like, in my opinion, it felt like the Broncos couldn't match up athletically.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they didn't have the white corner in that game, so maybe that helps with that, right?
that was also
Zay Flowers also injured right now. And the Ravens have that Bills thing where it's like their season starts now.
yeah.
They've had nothing but great regular seasons and MVP awards for Lamar. Now it's, can you get over the hump? Can you make any noise in January when it matters? And that's still a big prove it for them.
That was also the Devin Key game.
Yeah.
So
Yes,
It'll
we
go
all
differently
remember
this
him,
time.
too.
It might not go 31 points better, but it would go differently.
And one more thing that I think would be a big part in that is Lamar Jackson would be playing for everything there. I mean, all week he'd be thinking about, I can't blow this one,
Finally, yeah.
especially to the Broncos. We're 11-point favorites. It'd be a little too nervous where the Broncos would be playing
exactly
with
right.
absolute house money at that point. So, okay, you guys have helped me talk
2012
me into
revenge
this.
in play. I mean, I
Yeah.
think it lines up, honestly.
And at that point, there are new superstars on the Broncos. Because
Yeah.
they've just taken down the Bills and Chiefs in back-to-back weeks, and
Yeah.
Nik Bonitto had 8 sacks combined in those 2 games or something.
Yeah.
And we're looking at this team as a totally different animal as we did when they got beat down.
No
Still
doubt.
wouldn't feel great about it because of the matchup athletically, but it will be a very different Broncos team than played in that game.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think they've got a chance. And then are we talking NFC too?
Anyone
to
but
see
the
who make
Lions.
the Super Bowl?
7 potential teams.
Anyone but the Lions.
You don't want to face the
Yeah.
Lions?
There was a second there where I thought,
You remember last year?
maybe I wouldn't mind playing the
Yeah.
Lions.
I mean,
Again, it was a
they kind of boat race
athleticism
teams.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Now,
there were,
again, though, would I talk myself into it's the Lions? Like, they've never done this
True.
before. The pressure is endless as Fade's in the
true.
Super Bowl. Yeah, of course. But, I could literally argue in the mirror any point I wanted for days. I'm kind of a
that's true.
sicko. So
That's
yeah.
kind of fun.
And how about this? You just sent this about Lamar Jackson. We all know that he can't get it done in the playoffs.
This better be good because this is a heat check from you here.
This is good.
It's a
Lamar
good one?
Jackson in the
Okay.
playoffs, 2-4 record, but even more damning, I think, 6 touchdowns to 6 interceptions.
Wow.
Dang.
For a guy that is maybe a 3-time MVP to go out there and be bad. And that's a good sample
Yeah.
size, too.
Yeah,
6
it's not
games,
great.
and you throw 6 touchdowns, and you have 6 picks.
Yep.
Yikes.
Yep. No
That's
doubt.
not good.
Only guy I know that pooped his pants during a game, too. So, I mean, we've got that going.
He did
What
not.
about Paul
He
Pierce?
did not. He just
Right.
excused
Close
himself.
call. Close call. Been there in traffic
Also,
before, yeah.
You're a Broncos fan. You know about Mark Schlereth.
Well, I should say quarterback. I should have said quarterback. I should have said quarterback.
It's appropriate when a lineman does it.
I
Yeah.
love telling Kate about Stink and his rituals. It's hard for people to comprehend. That's actually something that happened in the real world.
Think about
It's
how
also- yeah.
uncomfortable that would be.
Doesn't sound super comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we just built the path for the Broncos to win the Super Bowl, kind of.
Yeah.
What do you think the odds are on Bet365
To win the whole thing?
to win the Super Bowl? I mean,
Plus
they're almost there, basically.
6,500.
I'll
Okay,
go-
you definitely looked at that.
I didn't. I swear to you. I swear to you, I did not.
On the numbers.
Wow.
I thought
That's pretty good.
Plus 10,000 is too high. Plus 8,000, no, that's still too high. I was like, it's gotta be over plus 5,000. So.
All right. I mean, you might as well heat check if Yaya's doing it.
Yeah.
Where does that rank amongst the teams?
I like this.
And and I'll just tell you it's not last. What are the teams below them and what are their odds?
Had you not told me, I would have guessed it was dead last. I would guess it's second to last, and the only worse odds are the Steelers.
Okay, close. Third to last. And both the Texans and Steelers are worse.
Texans make sense. I
Texans
guess.
at plus 8,000. Steelers at plus 9,000.
Wow.
Texans do have a easier path.
Pretty big gap
true.
between the
just
Broncos and
hurt.
the next team.
Yeah.
The Rams are next at plus 4,500. So it goes Lions plus 280, Chiefs plus 350, Ravens plus 600, Bills plus 650, Eagles plus 7,000. And that's basically what the book is telling you. Those are the teams that can win the
Eagles
Super
are plus 7,000.
700, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Bowl. So was I saying 1,000 about all those?
I think only that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, yeah. I like the odds. Certainly like it. So you put $10 down, Broncos on the Super Bowl, you get 650.
150, yeah.
Woo,
Pretty good
man,
deal.
That is juicy. Let's.
Lamar has also been sacked 26 times, 4.3 times a game.
Wow. Wow.
It's crazy
That-
to me because, like, in my head, I can't even imagine him getting sacked.
No.
Yeah.
How does that happen?
That's the thing about Josh Allen too. He's just so big. Like I don't know what you do. Because like if you go for his legs, he'll just throw the ball away. If you go up high, he breaks the tackle.
Force them into interceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, this entire year, Lamar Jackson's been sacked 23 times. one time fewer than Bo. But I mean, so in his playoff career, he's been sacked more, and he's only played 6 games compared to 17 like he just did this year. That's wild. So he's a different cat. So that's it. Is Lamar Jackson just turns into who he is in the playoffs, and the Broncos have a chance there. Let's continue this conversation in a different way. If the Broncos, and Ryan, you brought this up, and I thought it was a fun conversation to have. If the Broncos do make a run, who steps up? Obviously, it's probably Bo who steps up. So let's kind of put quarterback to the side here. And we had this conversation because yesterday we had it about Super Bowl 50, and Von Miller stepped up. So you can point to a great player on this team, and he just turned it to another level and went absolutely crazy. Won Super Bowl 50 MVP. So if it's not Bo, or in addition to Bo, who would you point to, Ryan?
Bonitto.
Oh, I see what Bo did there.
No, that's not how that
You got
works.
to nix that one.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. Good comeback.
Thank you.
It's Nik Bonitto to me. I mean, you're, again, going through a gauntlet of quarterbacks just like Von Miller did, and someone is going to have to make really big plays against them. And it's probably not even just sacks, it's strip sacks and other ways of, maybe quarterback hit that causes a turnover and just things of that nature. But I think Pat Surtain would be a candidate for this. Nik Bonitto has, dozens of opportunities to make a play every game. Pat has like two or three.
Yeah.
And so I think he would just continue to be respected, in the same way that the no-fly zone, their respect just grew and grew during the playoffs. But Von Miller, went from very vaunted pass rusher to all-time great during that stretch.
Love that. And that's one of the best comps you could have to Von as well, in terms of just the season he's having, too. 14 sacks is insane. Henry, who would you go with?
I'm torn between PJ and Jaquan. I think one of those two guys,
Like Henry answer.
well, they're playmakers. Like, those are two guys who last
Jaquan,
year,
I do think, plays a huge role. Huge.
definitely.
Yeah.
And PJ, ever since he first started 2 years ago, like through the first 17 games or whatever, he's averaging a takeaway almost every other game. And this year, those have kind of dried up. I wouldn't be surprised if that kind of gets turned back up again, whether it's picks or probably more likely some forced fumbles in there. But he and Jaquan, just because they kind of play similar roles in some ways, one of those two.
Love that, Dre.
Might need both.
Oh, also, really quick on Jaquan. He forced a fumble in the beginning of that Bills game last year, and that was part of his streak of having back-to-back games of creating a turnover.
No, he balled out in that game. He was like
That's the one where he just took the ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I love that one.
You want one?
Yeah. Or you can hit me with two.
Okay. I'll go Vance Joseph.
Oh.
They go on a run. He goes on a beating these kinds of quarterbacks we're talking about. Vance Joseph becomes hotter name than Aaron Glenn, than Brian Flores. He becomes the DC, especially after this historic season the Broncos defense has had that maybe isn't necessarily being talked about as an all-time great defense and just one of the really good defenses in the NFL this year. They go on a run. That's going to be a true breakout star.
So we just need Bo Nix to turn into Peyton Manning, Nik Bonitto to turn into Von Miller, and Vance Joseph to turn into Wade Phillips.
And let's have Marvin Mims. I'll
There
throw an
you go.
offensive
That
one
was
out.
my honorable
Marvin Mims
mention.
turn into Demaryius Thomas in this playoff
he has
run.
to go off.
And that's it. I mean, he's gone off these past 2 weeks. 150 receiving yards, 4 touchdowns, 13 for 13 in terms of catches when targeted. If he goes up, because we know Courtland Sutton is going to be Courtland Sutton here. If Marvin Mims turns into that number one like he's been the last 2 weeks, and then you have two guys like that, man, that's just going to give a spark. But if I had to agree with you guys, it's a defensive player because I don't want to go with a dependent position. But man, if Marvin can continue to step up, because he has.
They're going to have to come through on some big plays to win these kinds of matchups, and Mims would be your top candidate to, break through and have a couple big plays and, and lead the Broncos to making a run.
Real quick, something that I've just been pondering during this show. Who's the Buffalo Bills' second best player?
Well,
I mean, is it Von Miller right
I think
now?
it's Von.
Like right now?
Yeah, I think it's Vaughn.
It's
That is
Yeah.
Dalton Kincaid.
Matt Milano.
They do have a very good offensive line, but I don't know if you point
Gregory
to
Rousseau
one of those
and
guys
Oliver.
and say
It would be
like,
Deion Dawkins if he did.
Spencer
But I would say they're more
Brown is
healthy
their right
than good.
tackle and is balling out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's Vaughn.
they
My
have
point has been made.
no. And they have like a good team all around. Really, no true weaknesses, but no superstars. It's a really good
Yeah.
point.
Vaughn.
It's weird. It makes me feel better.
If Josh Allen goes out there and lays an egg,
Just has an off day.
yeah, which can certainly
Wakes
happen.
up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yep. I
Happens
just
to
still
the best of
remember
us.
the very first. Did it happen to you today? Is that what you're saying?
No, but Ryan's looked a
Oh,
little,
Ryan. Yeah.
I
Ryan,
went to the
a
Avs game
little
last night.
sleepy.
Ryan,
you know?
I do appreciate that you didn't wear a hat today because when we got the first shot of just you two on the couch, people could tell you guys apart.
Yeah,
So,
that-
Yeah, that is nice. That
yeah,
was.
see, we
Dang.
need that.
Yeah. Mike McGlinchey, third in the NFL among tackles in pressure rate allowed this season, and Vaughn only rushes that side.
Yep.
So it's just Vaughn versus McGlinchey, and that's going to be incredible to watch.
Yeah, it definitely will be great to watch. And we got
James
to hit.
Cook is a decent answer for second best.
Yeah, he's been good this year. Really good this year.
As good as Vaughn, though?
I think it's wrong though. He's not,
Exactly.
He's not even like top 3.
I agree.
Okay.
Let's hope the Broncos make him look like that. We've got some super chats
Yeah,
to hit
exactly.
before we get out of here. Rashawn says, just booked flights and got tickets. LFB.
Rashawn.
Looking
Makes me
forward
wanna do it. That's
to
so
seeing you
inspiring.
at the tailgate. Oh, it's going to be awesome. And so far, the weather is supposed to be okay.
You already dealt with this. Is there no direct? There's no direct to Buffalo.
There's one direct like every third day, and I'm not taking it. Southwest.
Yeah, I remember when I went to Buffalo, I left a Buffs game, 8 p.m. Buffs game on Saturday.
That's
flew
when you were
through
doing
the
the
night
sicko
to
stuff.
Philadelphia, then flew to Buffalo, and then made it to the game.
Yep. Yeah, that's
As
sick
far as
stuff.
NFL away games go, it's not the easiest to get to from Denver.
the most
Probably
difficult for sure.
Second hardest after Green Bay.
Oh, that's true.
yeah.
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 At least Buffalo's in New York, so that kind of helps.
Yeah.
Next one coming in from Jeremy, who says, my 6-year-old son and I are diehard Broncos fans from upstate New York.
Let's go,
We'll be
Jeremy.
there on Sunday with the crew.
Let's
Hope to
go.
see you, Zach. We will see you there at the tailgate, Jeremy. That is awesome.
Yeah.
What a cool game to experience, too. A playoff game in Buffalo, especially just ripping the hearts out of like the good old people up there.
Are they good people?
I would think
Well,
They
so.
seem weird. At
Not
the
the
very
dildo
least.
bros, but yeah.
Okay, the rest of them.
How do you know they're not good people?
Oh, it was just a fun callback. No, I respect the dildo bros and everything they do and stand for, no doubt.
What about the bowling ball bros?
I think, unlike Zach, I'm less worried about the safety. I think that extra weight would help me
I'm
knock them back
Shove it
even
back,
more.
Yeah.
the thing that is messing me up, and I'm sure there's sanitary people in Buffalo and they clean this thing. But
Oh, yeah. They're known for their sanitation.
just thinking about bowling balls, all I can think about is just like lots of random people putting their fingers in them.
Yeah, it's a fair point. How do you wash the finger holes in a bowling ball?
You don't.
Probably just put like a Clorox wipe on the end of like a pipe cleaner.
Actually,
They couldn't
I
figure
could
that
show you a
out. They
TikTok
couldn't
I have
figure that out.
bookmarked that has the exact solution, but it's more of a hypothetical.
Wouldn't the alcohol just kill it though? Right?
Some would say.
Yeah, someone.
I actually literally just watched TikTok last night that was
Smart.
tequila versus bacteria, like under a microscope.
Who won?
And
I love that guy. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was a good battle.
That's sick. That's sick.
Harry Basra chimes in and says, Bills playing the last 3 games with teams with less than 5 wins and Broncos having to play 2 tough teams and having a tune-up game versus the offs or before the playoffs. It's a good point. The last 3 games for the Bills are the 2 against the
Jets,
Patriots.
Pats.
Yep, exactly.
Pat's had him on the ropes.
And the 2 games before
Patriots are
that,
up.
they gave up 40 points in each game.
Yeah. Fourth playoff team ever to give up 42 points in back-to-back weeks.
Also, it's the year of the bad bye week, and they essentially had a bye week last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
So bye weeks are bad now.
Yeah.
Dang.
Patriots
Really
went
true.
up 14 zip though, and
They did?
eventually the Bills kind of clawed their way back, but it was only because Patriots fumbled and then Drake May threw picks,
Yeah.
pick in the end zone. Like
Gerard Mayo, terrible coach.
yes,
Whoa.
yes.
Yeah, that's Joey chimes in and says, Ryan.
You didn't even have a chance.
That's fair, but he wasn't good either.
Oh, it's Sir Knight Ryan. We got a comment from Joey who says,
Oh, wow.
Ryan, Sealand will knight you for $150.
Is that like SeaWorld?
Theme
but-
park or place?
I think so.
What
I
is
think it's
Sealand?
gotta be.
If you got $100 if you get it right, would you say theme park or actual place?
I'm going theme park.
Yeah, it's got to be theme
Going
park.
theme park.
Let us know, Joey. And Zachary chimes in just with a super chat. Oh, and then he hits us with a heart and says, big thanks to the DNVR crew for keeping this community bright in the darkest times. Playoffs, baby.
Let's go, Zachary.
LF Bo. Let's go, baby. Thank you, Zachary. Thank you so much for riding with us.
Actual plane.
Sealand.
Wow.
Let's go.
Yep.
Scotland? Where is it? Where is Sealand?
It is an offshore platform in the North Sea.
What? Wait, is
What's-
that it?
Yep.
What country
I
does it
What
border,
the hell
Henry?
is a platform?
Yeah.
It's claimed by Michael Bates.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, he looks like
Starting
he
to
has money.
feel a
Wrote
little more
And-
theme parky.
And he'll knight me?
Well, but then you go to sealandgov.org.
Okay, we'll
Which
figure
makes
this
me
out.
think
We'll have
government.
updates tomorrow. Also,
That's it.
shout out to our Vada Luke
World's
for
smallest
leaving
country.
us a chat on the website. We will get to that tomorrow. Continues to leave us comments on the website, and we'll get to you guys. Oh, man, we got some
you
Sealand updates tomorrow. Thank you all so much for rolling with us. We see you tomorrow, 10 a.m., DNVR Broncos show. Stay tuned for some more special guests. We'll see you.
We all silly like the mayor.